Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of Brigadier General David W. Gardner and Command Sergeant Major David P. Hansen, Commanding General and Post Command Sergeant Major of JRTC in Fort Polk, welcome to the Warrior Information Exchange for 5 April 2023. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll pass it over to you, Colonel Smith, for any opening remarks.
Okay, good morning. On behalf of General Gardner, who's TDY in Alaska, looking at after our OCTs from Ops Group, who's doing some great training and mentorship for the brigade that's up there in Alaska. He sends his greetings. He'll be back here in a couple days. And so we got a lot of information to get through today. Happy early Easter to everybody. And G3, over to you with the calendar.
Okay. I'll begin with this weekend here. So we'll start off with a Friday that begins the JRTC in Fort Polk spring break. Same time as the Vernon and Beauregard Parish School District spring break as well. Friday, the Garrison Commander has a sharp golf scramble here at the golf club here.
Now, caveat to that, G3, just for everyone's tracking, so the Mother Nature may not cooperate, and so tomorrow on or about 1300, the team's going to make a weather call whether we're still going to execute that scramble based on the rain that we anticipate occurring tomorrow and throughout Friday.
Okay, Saturday, the Die Hard Color Run, same guidance for the weather call as well. 8:30 a.m. begins the Heritage Family Spring Break Tours beginning at Warrior Memorial Park. And I'm tracking a change of responsibility out at Camp Shelby, Mississippi in support of 389 CAV. Sunday, 7 a.m. Easter Sunday sunrise service at Alligator Lake, and then a 9:30 Easter Sunday brunch. I'll move to the next week, the 18th. Please note the change of the Fort Polk Walking Town Hall. At the last WIE I briefed, it was on the 17th. Right after that, we had shifted one day to the right to the 18th. So the next Walking Town Hall will be on the 18th, beginning at 5 p.m. in the Dogwood Terrace neighborhood. Moving to the end of the week, we've got the first qualifier in support of the Army 10-miler. That begins at Honor Field, and then that night is outdoor movie night at Perez Field. Following day, 7 a.m., Catfish Cove. The CG will have opening remarks at 6:45. Then also 10 a.m. that day is the Anacoco Spring Parade. The 24th, again, please note the change. The last WIE I briefed that the Volunteer of the Year ceremony was on the 25th. It shifted one day to the left. So the Volunteer of the Year ceremony will take place on the 24th. Okay? And it shifted one day to the left in support of a planned DV visit on the 25th. So we're just kind of making room for the 25th for senior leaders and commands to take part in that and more to follow.
And a warn-out for all of the MSC commanders and command teams, it's most likely uniform going to be for us blues, but still working with the senior commander for that. For Volunteer of the Year. Okay.
Wednesday the 26th, there is a sexual assault awareness event at the Bowling Center, Strikeout Sexual Assault. BJACH Award Ceremony on the 27th. And then that Saturday, the Youth Fishing Tournament at Toledo Bend. And then at the same time, there's the CG's Powerlifting Competition at the Home of Heroes Gym. I'll move to the next month if there are no questions on this month. Okay, May. The next WIE will be Wednesday, 3 May, followed by an MSC Commander Luncheon. 4:30 p.m. that day is the Parent Advisory Board meeting. That's at the CYS building. And then 6 p.m. is the college graduation recognition ceremonies. That's the combined college graduation recognition ceremony. If you see that event on the 10th is erroneous. It's going to take place on the 3rd. All right. Friday the 5th, Motorcycle Awareness Month ride. That will begin at the old commissary parking lot with the DCO providing remarks for that. The Military Spouse Appreciation Day event, there are actually 2 sessions. There's one that begins at 10 here at the Warrior Center, and the next one begins at 6 p.m., same place. Garrison Commander has a Lawyers Day golf scramble. 1 p.m. is the start time. I will move to the end of the next week, the 13th. Saturday is the JRTC box tour. Next day is Mother's Day. Mother's Day brunch here at the Warrior Center beginning at 9:30. The next day is our next walking town hall, and that start point will be published. At the end of that week is the salute to troops. on headquarters field. It's shifted from 2 days to 1 day. So the 1 day of execution will be Saturday the 20th. The next week on the 23rd is the next volunteer of the ceremony, volunteer of the quarter ceremony here at the Warrior Center. The 25th is the Memorial Day ceremony at Memorial Park, followed by BJAC's award ceremony at 3:30, their footprint. And then that takes us into the Memorial Day 4-day weekend with the Day of Observance on the 29th. At the end of the month is the 353rd change of command on the 31st, and then as we go into June, we get into some more changes of command over the summer. Are there any questions?
Yeah, Alan, I've had a couple questions about the salute the troops. Is there a concert for that? People are asking if there's a concert for that.
So yes, there is a concert. It will be DJ to open up, and we have about 4 to 5 bands, and it's carnival. So we'll have carnival, we'll have rides, we'll have bands. We are waiting to announce who all the bands are going to be until we finally sign a contract.
Thanks, sir.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Just wanted to add that the change of command for DENTAC is on the 24th of May.
24 May. Change of command for DENTAC, 24 May. Okay, yes, ma'am. I've got that on the Mac, on the other calendar, so tracking. Okay, got it.
We also wanted to recognize Ramadan from the 22nd of March to the 20th of April, and then Passover from the 5th of April to the 13th of April.
Okay. Anything else?
I think the last day of school is on the 19th of May for Vernon Parish. I'm not sure about Beauregard.
It's the 25th for Boulevard.
Yep, she beat me to it. Okay, any other
Okay.
questions or comments on the calendar? Okay, MWR. Thanks, C3.
Sir.
All right, as usual, have to adjust the microphone to my height. Hi, my name is Seth. One more time there. And this is an MWR Warrior Information Exchange Minute. Our nearest event on our calendar will be the Die Hard Color Run this upcoming Saturday, starting at Playtown and Cafe. Since people are dying to get into the race, pre-register and participate and reserve your place. Test your might towards the end of the month and sign up to see if you can out-bench press the CG at the powerlifting event, April 29th. Take yourself out to the ball game and enjoy some intramural softball starting April 11th at Soldiers Athletic Complex. Next slide, please. April shines its light on and celebrates the month of the military child being the best. So take the kiddos bowling or even be an arborist. Hit golf balls all day or enjoy a great stretch. Next slide, please. Want to find a way to kick the stress? Take some time off and plan a little trip up to the north of us here and rent a cabin or yurt from our Toledo Bend wreck site. Hit the open waters in a pontoon or bass boat and just let it float. RV hookups are available. Come see us at Toledo Bend, where fun times are always makeable. Reaching the end of our thrill, we have some different hours of operation at the Forge Bar and Grill. Mondays and Fridays will be open from 1100 to 1400 hours. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 1600 to 2000. Fridays, 1600 to 2100. And Saturdays, 11 to 2100 hours. Lastly, we have some bigger and better equipment coming to our gyms, but we have to make way, so a few of our facilities will be closed for a couple of days. The entire facility of Wheelock will be closed from April 14th to the 20th. Aerobic classes will resume as scheduled. Cantrell Fitness Center's main floor will be closed from April 14th to 16th. All other rooms will remain open for you to get your pump on. I will be followed by Boss. Any questions? It's on the calendar on your table. Thank you.
Sorry, what is the purple ball in operation?
Can you say that again?
What is the purple ball in Operation Megaphone?
So the purple ball is going to be at Playtown and Cafe. It's a kids ball, so they can dress up, they can come how they want. It is after hours at Playtown, so we'll play loud music, you'll have a dance. Operation Megaphone is our middle school and teen center lock-in for those 2 nights. So it'll start at 7 p.m. the night of the Friday night, and they'll go until 9 a.m. the next morning. It is a Army-wide event for the middle school and teen program.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Specialist Kevin West, your new boss president, taking over for Corporal Patterson. I'm not sure how I'm going to follow DFMWR with that great speech. Starting out first, like I said, I am your new incoming boss president. I'd like to introduce my council real quick here. Missing right now out at Gunnery is Sergeant Demarius Stewart from the 1st to the 509th. We also have Sergeant James Harris coming from 525. Correct? Come on, Sergeant. Yeah, there you go. Say hi. PFC Priya Simpson is our secretary. Hello. And PFC Marati Sharad comes as our treasurer. So to jump right into it here, upcoming here for BOSS on 8 April, we have the Humane Society in DeRidder. We go out there every first Saturday of the month. Feel free to send your soldiers. We do have a cap limit of 15 as it's kind of a small facility, so if you're going to have them sign up, try and do it at least a week before. We also, on 19 April, have the Shake and Bake, which we host every third Wednesday of the month. Free food, drinks, snacks, things of that nature. We will also be conducting a public speaking class to help people feel a little bit more comfortable talking in front of crowds. And then the last event I'm going to highlight is on 22 April. We have the crawfish cooking class hosted over at Home of Heroes. We're going to have a few entities from MWR out there as well to help make it a grand event for all is what we're going to go with. The last thing I'm going to highlight here on this page here is the BOSS Facebook QR code. You will notice we have a very engaged presence with this new council, not just in the community, but on social media as well, so feel free to come and find us. Unless you have any questions or concerns for me, I will be followed by Sharp. Bam.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
My name is Gustacia Gabriel, and I am the Supervisory SARC for JRTC in Fort Polk. So if you don't know me, now you do. Great briefing, MWR. I was like, I hope I don't have to follow him. He sounded so professional. So I will talk about a few events that's going on for the month of April, which is Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month. The Army's theme this year is Intervene, We Are a Team. There is us in trust. Can they trust you? We've already had our SAPM proclamation signing that took place on the 31st. The GC Golf for a Cause Scramble right now is tentative on the 7th of April. We also have a April Showers Bring May Flowers paint event over at the Arts and Crafts Center. That event is free, so if you want to participate, please let Ms. Williams know. She's right over there in that corner, the Garrison SARC. She's going to be in charge of that event. Also, as already discussed, we will have a SAPM Strikeout Bowling event on the 26th of April in conjunction with National Denim Day. So come out with your teams. We've got a great special that MWR is giving us, $10 for 2 hours, and that includes your bowling shoes. All you can bowl. Please come out and support that event. Also on our slide, you see that beautiful barcode that the Garrison made for us. That goes to our Facebook page. You can check us out on Facebook and for all of the event listings. I'll be followed by Family Advocacy Program.
Thanks, Gus.
Good morning, everyone. Okay,
Good morning.
To my height. My name is Ann Bollinger. I'm from the New Parent Support Program, and just going to also talk to you about some events that we have in April for Child Abuse Prevention Month. We kicked it off with our proclamation signing and pinwheel planting last Friday, which was awesome. And we have a few events that I just want to highlight. New Parent Support works with those soldiers and family members who are pregnant and who have a child or an infant under the age of 3. So we really want to have some command support for several of our events, especially for our soldiers, our mamas who are pregnant or have a young child. So I'm going to talk to you about a few of those. Our first one that I'm going to highlight is our stroller walk, and that's where we really want our soldiers to come out, do a stroller walk around Honor Field with us. It's at 9 a.m. It's a great support group for them. They get to know the other soldiers, other moms, and we would like our dads to come out too. So if anyone can give their command support, we truly appreciate that. On the 18th, we have Go Blue Day, and that is the Army's day to recognize Child Abuse Prevention Month and to wear royal blue, which color I'm wearing today. Thursday, the 20th, we have our tree planting, and that will be on the Warrior Golf Course. Also would love to have our P3T soldiers and family member soldiers come out to that as well. We have on 21 April, we pair with DFMWR. We're going to do a positive parenting movie night, which is A Bug's Life. And our theme this year is Mill Parents Rock. And so what that means is that if we support our soldiers and our family members, that gives them the tools to be the rock and the foundation for their children. So this year we're going to do A Bug's Life, and we also will hand out animal backpacks for the children and glow items so that we are shining a light on our parents. Are there any questions? No? Followed by EFMP.
Thanks, Ann.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Natalie West. I am the Systems Navigator with EFMP. So April is where we celebrate National Autism Awareness Month, and I would love to tell you a little bit about the events that we have coming up. To assist in building awareness in our community and supporting our families diagnosed with autism, we have several events throughout the month of April. 10 April at 11:30, the EFMP Storytime and Crafts at Allen Memorial Library. Then we have 13 April, EFMP Wear Blue Day for Autism. 14th April at 1300, EFMP Superhero Chalk the Walk at Honor Field. And one of the most important is the 28th April 1700, the Autism Workshop. The Autism Spectrum Disorder Workshop will provide families with specific information on what is the ASD diagnosis and what that means, how to assist and advocate for your child, and tips with behaviors and education concerns. Additional resources for more information on what ASD is, please visit the sites listed below on the page. Also, you can always stop by our office at the ACS building at 920 Belle Richard, or Belle Richard as I say it. Any questions or concerns?
Yeah, so Natalie, quick question that was proposed to me was the Chalk the Walk. Why is it so earlier in the day? Because not everybody's on spring break that day.
We had just figured that it would be good to do throughout the day. That's okay. We just changed
Because it's
it.
during the school, remember the first time that still during the school day?
Yeah.
So I didn't know if there was a particular reason or.
No, no particular
Okay.
reason. Anything else? Thanks. Followed by BJACH.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Jean Graves. I'm the Public Affairs Officer for BJACH. We've got a lot going on in April as well. First, Saturday MRIs. We have 14 slots for MRIs on Saturdays, and we have increased our access to care by doing that. So hopefully, if you've been waiting for an MRI, you're able to get in quicker, and if you're available on the Saturday, we'd be happy to serve you at that time. Month of the Military Child. One of the things we're doing this year, it's a brand new event. It's called the Big Latch. I left some flyers on your desk, but we are partnering with Mom to Mom Global for a breastfeeding initiative. We'll have one of our pediatricians on hand. I believe New Parent Support will also be participating, and it should be a great event. Kind of a peer support for our breastfeeding parents. Anybody who had recently breastfed their kids and would like to join us, please come out. It's really just to show support for each other and kind of develop a community around it. April is National Volunteer Month, so I brought Ms. Sybil McGrew, our awesome lead volunteer for the Red Cross at BJACH. If you're interested in volunteering with the Red Cross, see Sybil after this meeting. We'll do a little highlight reel of some of our awesome volunteers, and it'll be posted on our Facebook page sometime before the end of the month. And then Child Abuse Prevention Month, we've talked about that a little bit. We'll be doing 2 pinwheel plantings with our school-based it's our school-based behavioral health services, and they also work with our child, adolescent, and behavioral health service program. And we'll be doing a pinwheel planting on the 19th at Parkway for the first graders, and on the 28th for the kindergartners at North Polk Elementary. I left flyers on everyone's desk, but if you need some more from me, just reach out and I'll be happy to send them to you. Pending any questions.
Yes, is there a pending class for depression that will be starting soon?
I am not sure about that, but I can follow up. Okay, we did start a new CAFBIZ group, but I don't think that's necessarily what it is, but I'll find out for you and I'll get back to you, okay? No problem. I will be followed by AAFES.
Good morning. My name is Mario. I'm here on behalf of Tamar Tracy for the Exchange. We'd like to start off by asking you to join us for a free showing of the movie The Covenant at the Bayou Theater on the 15th of April at 3 p.m. We also have the barbershop prices that are unfortunately going to increase starting in or ending in June. They will go up in 60-cent increments in April, May, and June. We are also going to get Amazon lockers. It's going to be a partnership with AAFES, so the Search for Community. We're looking at 2 potential locations, either the main store or Express 1. And finally, we have the Burger King is hiring. It's currently starting out at $16.14 an hour, and there is a $750 bonus. And pending any questions? I will be followed by DPTMS. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dusty Andrews. I'm the Chief of Plans and Operations for DPTMS. On behalf of Mark Leslie, the Director, I'd like to at least give you some information. There's going to be a disaster readiness exercise conducted by the State and National Guard the 17th to 23rd of April. So if you're out and about, you may see some activity with National Guard soldiers in the area. On 20 April, we're going to be conducting, as part of this exercise, we're going to be conducting our own exercise with the state and the National Guard. So you may see some of our soldiers actually in the local area guarding some critical infrastructure or high-value targets in our area. They'll be in full kit, but it's nothing to be concerned with. So if you see them out there, you should not be concerned. We're going to be doing some EPICON, our force protection condition elevations at the gate. That just means that we're going to be conducting a little bit more strenuous activity, checking people coming in and off the installation. It's only going to be an exercise, nothing to be concerned with, especially with the level of activity internationally, but we're going to be synchronized with the state, the GOSEP, which is the Governor's Office of Homeland Security. So we're fully embedded with them, so should not be anything to be concerned with. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much. I'll be followed by CORVIAS.
Thanks, Dusty.
Good morning. I am Kirk. I am the Operations Director for CORVIAS. And I know that there has been a lot of confusion about the stray animal policy. So we're going to or the process that you need to go through if you see a stray animal. So we're going to kind of hit some brief overviews on that. First off, if you see an animal, whether it's a cat, a dog, or understand that it could have gotten loose, broke away from a lease, or out of a backyard. So we want to give it a little bit of time before you make us aware of it. The other thing, too, is if it's an aggressive animal, let's make sure that we call DES immediately so they can come out and pick the animal up. So once you see the animal, you're going to call into your community and identify the dog and give us a brief description. Our first go out is that we're going to ask you how long you've seen the dog. We like to give it at least 48 hours before we call our vendor out. Once that goes through and we see that it is an animal that is clearly a stray animal, we will call our vendor out and they will come out and pick the dog up. We ask that you do not feed the stray animals because once you feed them, they are very hard to catch. Our vendor's having a tough time. Once our vendor picks up the animal, he automatically scans it to make sure that there's a chip in it, and we try to get it back to its owner. We also ask that you put it out on social media that you have seen a stray animal and give a brief description of where you saw it and what the animal looks like. Any questions?
Okay.
Just to, Jennifer Murphy, Director of Emergency Services, just to clarify the DES thing, right? That's a life, health, safety thing, right? To ensure that no one gets hurt from the animal. DES is not going out there to collect the animal, even if it's a threat, or preventing anyone from getting hurt, while the proper personnel come out to collect the animal. Just wanted to level.
Okay, and to be fully transparent here, we got to start with what is the problem? The problem is we have dogs and pets who are getting out of their homes, out of the backyards, and off of their leashes. That is the problem we're trying to solve as a community. So what we've done is try to outline the process, which is not perfect, but this is a process for everybody to understand that if there are stray animals, what we're not trying to do is to capture them and then take them away if they just got loose, because it happens. So if there is stray animals in the neighborhoods, yes, call CORVIAS and the resident office. If you see it more than one day, then we'll start with working with our vendors to capture the dog, take it to the vet, and then try to figure out where their owner is. So we can't forget, we have a challenge with a lot of loose pets. And most of those challenges happen during PCS time because some of our community is just letting their pets go. So we are trying to solve a problem that should not exist, but this is not a perfect solution, but something that we're trying to wrap a process around to get after this challenge. Any questions? It is. Now, this is not systemic. We don't have hundreds, we just have had a lot of comments and questions, and so we just wanted to make sure we leveled all for full transparency. And we asked Kirk to take the heat round to brief this. Okay, thanks, Kirk.
Thank you. I'll be followed by the school liaison.
Hi, good morning. So most of the briefers before me have let you know that it is Month of the Military Child. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Month of the Military Child, how long the Department of Defense has been celebrating it, how many of our children are military-connected kids, and then what our state has done to honor those kids, and then we'll break it down to the local level. So Month of the Military Child has been celebrated for 37 years by the Department of Defense and celebrates military children for their service that they serve alongside their parent. They'll move anywhere between 6 to 9 to sometimes 10 times within their service member's career. So each time that's plugging into a new school, plugging into a new community, leaving friends and making new friends. So because of that, we do in the month of April, bring awareness to that and wear purple. So you'll see me in lots of purple clothes. Tomorrow, most of the schools are doing their kickoff. You will see that April 19th is statewide Purple Up Day. So Governor Edwards has declared that day statewide Purple Up Day. All state offices will be wearing purple and celebrating military-connected kids. Most of our schools are doing it tomorrow in Boulgard and Vernon Parish because they're going to have their kickoffs right before they go on spring break. From there, we have lots of events going on while the kids are on spring break, and then we also have some upcoming events at our middle school and teen center that we offer in April. It helps the kids prepare for summer, but it also helps having it during the month of the military child and really bringing awareness to that. They're still doing their Communicating with Tweens and Teens series at the middle school and teen center. It's been pretty well attended, so I encourage y'all to push that out. It is in partnership with our military family life counselor that does focus on that age group of kid. Sorry, we don't target kids either. So workforce readiness is the 17th to the 21st. That will end with a hiring fair. Well, MWR and some local businesses that are looking for summer hires will be there on Saturday doing on-spot interviews. But all week long, we'll help the kids prepare. So it does start, they can ride the bus to the middle school and teen center. It does not require you to sign up because there is not a cost. So that's the difference between it and the babysitter course. And the babysitter course will be held. It finally got solidified. So call for more information to get registered. So you can call 531-1955 to register for the babysitter course. Sorry, when these slides were done, it was not ready and we didn't have approval for all the. They will end with a CPR card, so that's part of where those fees go to. So they are certified in CPR and first aid when that class is complete, which was part of the holdup in it. And that'll be that week of spring break, so starting next week. Still looking to go and do some month of the military child school visits. You can see the picture there in the left corner of Colonel Smith high-fiving a third grader last year at Parkway. So we are looking to go to those. We will have a visit from the Louisiana Department of Education during month of the military child this year, so we're really excited about that. They're going to go to Leesville High School and Parkway Elementary, which are our two largest military populated schools. So the superintendent of schools will be here with the Military Interstate Compact Commissioner that also is on his team. She is the director and assistant superintendent for student opportunities, and so that's why it's a logical connection to the Military Interstate Compact, because that's what the Military Interstate Compact protects, is when a child transitions during all those moves we just talked about, making sure that they have all the same opportunities as every kid that's been enrolled here in the state of Louisiana, since kindergarten or middle school. Some dates to remember for Boulgard Parish and Vernon Parish, we've kind of already covered those too. The spring break next week, actually starting on Good Friday on the 7th and then going through. And then the last days of school. If you need, or you are on orders before and your report date is before the last day of school, please work with our office because you can finalize your child's records. They do have to be here for end of course testing, but we can work with the State Department and do a lot of different things to make sure that you're set up with a completed school record before you get to your next duty station. So please let your families, command teams, please let your families know that, to work with us. Not only are we a great resource even if they're moving after school, because we can make sure they're set up and they know what's going on in that state where they're transitioning to or transferring to, but especially those that need early withdrawal help. Two things I want to add to the MWR brief. That spring break camp that we talked about is completely full. That is why getting a free CYS registration is so important, so please pass that down to your families too. With CYS, you don't pay any money until you enroll in a program. But to enroll in a program, you must have a CYS registration, which means that you have a current health form on file. And then if anything on that health form flags the CYS nurse that we might need to know a little bit more information or get something from your doctor, then we push that up to get that done. And then other than that, to enroll in most of our programs, other than full-time childcare, you can call or walk in, and it's about a 5 to 10 minute process. So please encourage your families to get those free CYS registrations. That will also be true for Operation Megaphone. So if your child wants to attend Operation Megaphone and is a middle schooler teen, please don't wait. We can get a registration done and they can get enrolled in it before the time of that lock-in, but they will need a CYS registration. So that's just to keep anyone from being upset and not being able to participate in something that we advertise. Are there any questions?
On the megaphone, is there a limitation on the number of kids?
There is. It was, I don't want to tell you a number because I know what the COVID number was and I know we increased, but I don't know how much we increased. So the numbers I know are before there was ever any regulation, and then I know what the regulation number was, but I don't know what this year the happy median number was.
So I'll send you an email. So
Yes.
that way we can put it out.
Absolutely.
And the other question I have is I keep seeing the teen employment thing, and which is really good. But I know one of the biggest concerns that I had when we first moved here that was brought to my attention is the amount of teens that will be here for the summer. Like their parents are stationed here, but they live with another parent, but they're here for the summer and they're looking for employment. The idea of how can they get employment when they're here? Because by the time they were actually employed, the summer was over.
Have we looked in, I'm going to look at you, Stormy, as far as MWR-wise, I know the local communities, we can still, all those vendors, we can still plug those kids back. So if their parents reach out to our office, workforce development does fall within school support services because it's an educational outreach.
Okay.
So they can play with those local vendors. Did we come up with anything to expedite the process? Are we still working that for teen hires in the summer?
So if they're coming over from another installation or from somewhere else, we can get them on board as long as they've gone through the USA jobs process.
Okay.
So just, you can email me directly
Okay.
that they have applied with their resume, we can take care of that through CPAC.
because I know we have a large turnover this summer, and we're already making contacts with those families that are inbound. So if I can create some sort of, hey, if you have a teen inbound, this is the process. Come with A, B, and C. Stormy's or whoever that contact is. So maybe that transition doesn't look so scary for that teen coming in. So if you're putting out, I would like to go ahead and forward that out to our incoming families.
Okay, we can get together and come up with something that you could send to the incoming families.
Hey, Christine, is that what you were looking for?
Yes.
Okay.
Right now, what their process is, especially our college students, that may not be at another installation, but would like to work here over the summer.
So the other thing that I noticed that is not on here is the lifeguarding, because that also comes this spring. I mean, my kid just passed his swim test, so he is taking the course this over spring break, but I know that is not full yet.
So the job is currently announced on USA Jobs,
Okay.
the lifeguard course. We also have a pool aid, which is for those individuals that are not lifeguard certified.
Okay.
And NWR actually trains them into that lifeguard position, right? So
Right.
they come on as a pool aid, and then they transition into that lifeguard
Okay.
position if they're not already certified. And we do that kind of once they've been selected for the pool aid position. So they don't
Okay.
necessarily have to be a lifeguard per se
Okay.
to get that certification.
So that would be one of those that if we have a transitioning teen or college student that they could.
Correct.
Could they go ahead, like if they're not here yet, but they know like their soldier has orders, they're going to be here, can they go ahead and apply for that? All right, so those are the things that I'm looking for to help that transition be a lot easier.
Yeah, and that's what she and I will work on something too, as far as if they apply for the USA job
Okay.
while they're at college or their family is still stationed somewhere else and they're transitioning or transferring in, we'll work on what would your CPAC process look like and how much can you do virtually and what would need to finish up here. The other thing with the lifeguard is, of course, they can be certified anywhere. So if they took a lifeguarding class while they were in college and they have a certification card, have them go ahead and apply for that lifeguard position. And we'll put all that out too, but you don't have to do the class here to get hired here.
Understood. Okay, that clarifies a lot of things. Christine, yes?
So we will develop a how-to and we'll send it out to everybody.
Yes, sir. Stormy and I will work on that.
Can you include AAFES on that? Because they have a lot of jobs all the time, too.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll work with AAFES. They're one of the local vendors that's going to be here. They're a little bit easier than even MWR. Sorry, to get hired and on board.
Okay.
I never resigned. I was on MWR's books for a really long time and would come home and work just enough to stay on them when I was in college, because resigning, especially back then, it was even harder to get onboarded back. So once I became a lifeguard at 16, I always came back and worked at least a minimum of a month to 6 weeks in the summer when they really needed it so that I could stay on board.
Is the weekly summer camp waitlist open? And if not, when will it be open?
It is open if the child is already enrolled in care. So that's that prioritized wait list to ensure that active duty soldiers whose kids are already enrolled in care are given first priority for those summer camps. From there, I believe that it's going to, the schedules for that are going to be released in the middle of April, and then the registration will start right after that.
So no date yet when it's opening up to the rest of the public?
No, they'll look, because it has to close for prioritized first, and I know it hasn't closed for prioritized first, because then they know how many, that way they can tell a parent it's full or they're wait listed, because they wait for the prioritized to close for those students that are already enrolled in before and after care.
It'll be announced on the Polk CYS page?
It will, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Tiffany. Okay, next slide. So just wanted to highlight a great news story here. The senior commander put out basically a good conduct incentive program policy. And so what you see here is all of the companies over the last 30 days, which started March 1st through the 31st of March, 47 companies out of our total 65 companies have achieved this accomplishment. And so they're going to get a 3-day pass on behalf of the senior commander. So great job to the 47 companies that are listed here. Okay, we'll go around the horn. Ops group, sir. Ma'am, anything from ops group? Questions, concerns? Nope. Okay. 353.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Page 310. Good. Okay. 32nd.
Got nothing, sir.
Okay. 15.
No, sir.
46.
Apparently has something. Oh, look at that.
Hello, everyone. We have one alibi. We're going to announce our 25 May second annual golf scramble. All funds raised from the golf scramble will go towards our battalion ball, and that will help lower our ticket prices for our E1 to E4 population. Again, 25 May, registration begins at 10:00, and the actual scramble will kick off at 11:00. What we are going to do is get out an updated flyer with a QR code or an email so the outstations can actually register for the course, because obviously you're not going to come down to our company coffs to register for a golf scramble. I believe Task Force 5 from Ops Group took home first and second place at the last golf scramble. So we'll see what happens this year. We appreciate y'all's support. Pending any questions.
519.
Just to highlight, been about a month into the MSC's VMM on the ACPs. They're doing a fantastic job. I just want to highlight some of the great things they're doing. Brand new thing soldier from 310 on ACP was able to stop a gate runner that was trying to access the installation illegally. They did exactly what they were trained to do, hit the AVP and prevented that. So a lot of great stories from your soldiers out there. Really appreciate everyone's support on this installation effort. So thank you.
Cool. Tech, ma'am.
Good here.
Great. Do we have the weather squadron?
My turn.
No. Okay. BJACH Commander.
My turn. All right. Just a couple things. On the slide, Gene briefed was our construction. So if you've been by the hospital entrance A side, you've seen it. The parking lot's halfway blocked off. They're removing the water tower there, the cooling tower there. So that's going to be a very lengthy project. But what I wanted to remind folks of the stork parking that was inside that fence line has been moved to the second row of parking spaces closest to the entrance A. So if you got soldiers that are expecting, you can let them know where the stork parking has been relocated to. Lots of turnover coming to the hospital, already started. Mainly, unfortunately, it's in the pharmacy, and so it's going to get worse before it gets better. So please, expectation management. I would highly remind folks, if it's new prescription, to use the digital service to get in line, and then you can stay and go about your business and come back later to pick up your prescription. Also, we're experiencing turnover in the OR and our anesthesia providers, both OR nurses and anesthesiology, which priority will go to our OB patients if we have to make decisions between elective surgeries and deliveries. And then talk about some new services in the community. There's a new PT clinic here in Leesville that does see children, so that will hopefully open up some of our EFMP issues that we've been having with PT. And then for soldiers and family members that were having to go to Alexandria for sleep studies, Byrd now has a sleep study capability, so we'll be able to bring folks back closer to home for their sleep studies. And then probably the coolest thing that I have right now is we've partnered with a facility down in DeRidder, an inpatient psych facility, to do intensive outpatient behavioral health. That's a service we've not had the capability to provide, and what that provides us is if you have a soldier or a dependent coming out of an inpatient stay that's not quite ready to go just back into everyday life, and they still need some more intensive therapy, but not just a weekly touch point with behavioral health, they can be enrolled into an 8 to 12 hour a week course where they'll be able to get some more intensive therapy. Likewise, if we have a soldier or spouse that needs to not have inpatient but needs something more, we can step them up into that therapy. And that's all I have.
Okay. So I'm here.
All right, good morning, everybody. First off, thing I have is a two-sided slide. One's for units for the qualitative recycle program, so things you can take over to the building and drop off and things you can't. On the back side, it is for what you can do if you live in housing, where you can take bulk items, mattresses, and kind of the same thing, what items are accepted, what items are prohibited. So I'll leave that over here. I have 25 copies, so afterwards, if you're interested, you can come get one. Second thing with BOSS, what I want to do is with all the BOSS team I have, the new team, is take them around and introduce them to all the new sergeants major, kind of tell them, let them brief the brigade and battalion CSMs on the way forward, what we're looking to do with the program, what we're trying to accomplish, explain some things that maybe might be a turnoff for some folks in terms of, well, BOSS is just an opportunity for people to go and screw off during the workday, which it is absolutely not. There are some fun things in there, but there's other important pillars to BOSS that I want to make sure we can get folks a little bit more involved with the program and for your soldiers. And the last thing I have is for the BMM, for the MPs. Thank you very much. However, if we do another rotation, another iteration, which I'm sure we are, please ensure your soldiers, the 4187s to stop meal deductions are submitted for your primary team, and the other ones are prepared, because what we had was quite a few people whose BAS was not stopped, and so they were still taking meal deductions, so they were paying out of pocket twice for meals that they shouldn't have had to pay for. So just something to kind of take a look at, please. That's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so I think Tiffany told me that summer camp care opened on Monday, and so that was the answer to the question, right, Tiffany?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then that sports camps, which are different, those are those like 2-hour camps that are run at our different sports facilities for CYS, they open May 5th.
Okay, so as you heard from the team, April is Month of Military Child, as well as Autism Awareness Month and Sexual Assault Awareness Prevention Month. And so if you haven't seen on social media or disseminated, this is a calendar that the team has posted of all the events in April that are occurring. And so if you want to know what's going on for the Month of the Military Child, it's all right here on one calendar. And I think most of us are aware that our military children from the age of kindergarten to high school move on average 6 to 9 times. And this year, 30% of our military families will go to a new installation. So a lot of change in our military families and our kids who are very resilient. So AER, I sent a note out to all the team on AER. Just wanted to remind everybody our AER campaign is halfway complete, and so ask you to have the opportunity to, if you can, to donate to this great cause, which supports our families and our soldiers, from cars to homes to tickets. And so we are going to start emphasizing AER a little bit more in the last 45 days we have. Before I'm asked about these things, I just wanted to get ahead of them. So playgrounds out in the neighborhoods, we're almost to the finish line on prioritizing the playgrounds that need to be worked on. And so hopefully the goal is in the next 30 days to have 6 of them reopen. Renters insurance, we are also going to be working with the team on renters insurance. We have improved on renters insurance with our residents. However, some of our residents are getting renters insurance, and then a week later they are canceling them. So we're trying to figure out how we wrap our arms around this to protect all of us. Turtle Pond right out here is open, and the turtles are back. And so we appreciate all the patience from the community on the golf course and the trail with being closed off. Now it's reopened, so we're good there. We already talked salute to troops. We are also digging into the details based if you've seen the Secretary of Defense's recent 2 memos over the last 3 weeks talking about potential increases in BAS for our families, as well as a potential child and dependent care credit. We're trying to get into details of what does that mean for our soldiers and our families, but more to follow on that. On spouse employment. And so we have an opportunity, and we've heard a lot of feedback regarding employment for our spouses. We have a 12-week paid fellowship for any spouse who's interested in getting paid for 12 weeks. Our businesses have signed up, from Beauregard to Rapides to Vernon. So we have businesses about dentists, pharmacy, hospitals, real estate, All you have to do is call the Military Spouse Career Accelerator Pilot. You go in there, you register, and then you get matched with a company based on where you want to work. It's 12 weeks paid, and then after that, it's almost like temp work. If you do well, you can potentially get a full-time job offer. We have one military spouse who's registered, and we have about 40 businesses who are already in this program, but it's a great opportunity. We are, last week, if you didn't hear about this, we had an unannounced inspection by our Installation Management Command higher headquarters on all of our CDCs. We do this every year, so it's unannounced, and they came and they inspected all of our child development centers, and they walked away with about a 91% pass rate and achieved commendable ratings. We're waiting for the final report, but I just wanted to brief the community that our child development centers are doing very well with our caretakers there. You're going to see in the near future a counter mildew, counter mold campaign come out across the installation, and this is how we're going to start informing our community based on our environment here in Louisiana, especially in the summer. We have high moisture, how we can mitigate some of the moisture, mildew, and mold that occurs here on the installation, and how we take care of that. So we're going to be sending out videos, brochures, and flyers to get after that, and we have a team who's prepared to help. Last thing is, the last Friday of each month, we still do a family welcome. And so for all new soldiers, spouses, dependents, girlfriends, boyfriends, partners, we host as an installation the last Friday of every month. We start at 8 o'clock if they want to do a bus tour, which lasts about 20 minutes to get an overview of the installation. And then we start the briefings with all of our installation stakeholders at 9 with the commanding general and the team. So over the last couple of ones, we've had about 4 or 5, and we're looking at whether we continue this. And so when we will message this to make sure that the team knows that we have not stopped this. So I just wanted to put a plug in for that. Okay, before we go off to the civilian of the month and the soldier of the month, I wanted to pass the chief. Chief, anything? Nope. Okay. Ma'am. Yep.
So the spouse employment that you were just talking about, the spouse employment you were just talking about, is there a way for the person that's sort of in charge of it to send some information out that we can push down to our families and our spouses? So if you have 40 businesses, you only have one spouse interested, that would be helpful, like getting us to get it out, because I don't know how many people are tracking it.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So we do have the flyer, and I will make sure that it's sent out.
If you could, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, any other questions before we go to civilian of the month or soldier of the month?
Just second that on the spouse.
Roger that. Roger. Okay. All right, so on behalf of the senior commander, I wanted to bring up Gary. Where are you at? Come up here, come on. So Gary works in DPTMS. He's worked for us for about 4 years in the position. And so what he does, he tries to keep at least the garrison on the right track with our orders process, our CONOPS, and everything that we do from events has to be synchronized and integrated, and it is a beast of a job to do. And you were pulling teeth, and you were trying to, get everybody together, and so we wanted to recognize you. So on behalf of the senior commander, I want to say thank you for a great job you've done, and you get his parking spot for a month, and this is a coin on his behalf, so thank you very much. Appreciate your support. Thank you, Gary.
Sergeant Matamoros. Come on up. All right, so Sergeant Matamoros has been selected as our Soldier of the Month. If anybody doesn't know Sergeant Matamoros, you should really get to know him. He's a very happy, smiley guy. You can't knock the smile off this guy's face, no matter what you say to him, no matter what you do to him. Just a phenomenal NCO and a human being. During Ms. McCullough's visit, he did PT with Sergeant Major Oliver, who's the MCOM, basically her counterpart, and crushed him. Set up some good PT and smoked him, made him feel his age. So he didn't want me to tell you this, but he was hurting. So I saw him limping around, and he did smell like Wintergreen Lifesavers or Bengay. So you crushed him. So good job on that. Thank you.
All right, appreciate all the support and time. And the next WIE is on 3 May at 10 o'clock. Thanks. Enjoy your day.